New games, new hardware, and of course some freaking awesome news. But before we dive into this awesome video, I want to talk to you about one quick subject. Haptics. Haptics in controllers is something that I am fascinated with, and I genuinely believe is like the most important component to any VR experience. Now, I want to make a video dedicated to this subject, but I want to know if you're interested in seeing it first. So I'm going to put the feelers out there in the community and say it's in your hands. If you want to see that, in the comments down below, just drop an emoji thumbs up. That's all you have to do. I'll know what you mean by that point. And if enough of you are interested, then of course I will dive into that and make that video. Now, to dive into the exciting stuff. The exciting stuff is the games that we've been having coming out recently and some games that we have coming up in the very near future. Ghost of Tabor has released very recently, and this game is honestly freaking dope. It's had an amazing reception in the VR community, and honestly this game holds up to looking like it's gonna be something very, very special. Now, of course, at the moment you can dive into this game for absolutely free and just go and enjoy this. I absolutely recommend you take the time to do that. There is a Quest version of this as well, but it's a little bit unstable from my understanding. The PC version is the better one to be diving into currently, but nonetheless definitely worth checking out. If you're interested in this and you want to know a little bit more, well, this game is essentially the Tarkov of VR. So you get in, you have to go in and do some raids, get as much equipment as you possibly can. Also, you have the PvPvE element to this game, so that you have enemies that are just in the map in general, enemies that are real people in the map also trying to accomplish the same task whilst trying to kill you, and then you have to exfil out of there and, you know, get your loot, claim it, sell it, go back in, rinse and repeat. The map in this is actually pretty phenomenal. The development team have put a ton of work into making this game something very, very special. I'd love to know if you want me to cover this and maybe do a review of the game. If so, again, let me know in the comments down below, because these kind of things really help me know what you want to see on the channel. Definitely check this one out though, especially while it's for free. As you might have seen yesterday, well, the internet was taken by storm by this game and a lot of creators were releasing content on it. So I definitely wanted to just say my piece as well, which is definitely go out there and check this game out. Get it on your wish list, get it bought when a second it drops, and of course go and enjoy this for yourself, because this game is absolutely dope and I really want you to all to explore this for yourselves. Of course, Vertigo 1 is already out there and the remastered version of it of that is freaking amazing. So if you haven't played that, definitely recommend that you check in with that one first. Now, on the note of gameplay, I do actually have a bit of an announcement to make. Well, as I'm not really doing so much gameplay on this channel anymore, we've kind of changed niche a little bit and we're just trying to focus on a specific area of VR on the Rhys channel at the moment, which is talking about upcoming games, news and reviews for VR tech. The reason I've sort of sidebarred to that a little bit is YouTube really likes you to stay in one niche, whereas I like to explore all elements of VR. It's sort of become harder and harder to have sort of gameplay going on as well as other things. It's just getting harder and harder for me to focus on one singular subject. So my solution to the problem was to start a second channel which is solely focused on gameplay, and then the Rhys channel can be solely focused on those other subjects I've just spoken about. If you are interested, I have started a brand new channel. It's already got a ton of content up on there because I started at the beginning of the year kind of in silence because I just wanted to experiment and see if it was going to do anything first, and then I was going to announce it. And this is that very moment. I'm announcing it. If you're interested in seeing purely just gameplay of VR, then that is the channel to go and subscribe to, and you can see all of the gameplay that's related to the subjects that I talk about on this channel. So they kind of go hand in hand beautifully, and of course it means you get even more awesome content from me. So that link will be in the description and in the comments pinned, so go check out that channel. A little bit of support would go a long way for me as well. I'd really appreciate it if we could bump it over that first 1,000 subscribers, as you know, then it can be monetized, and you know, I would appreciate that. Next up is Polito. Polito actually dropped a little announcement the other day that they are working on a multiplayer game. This looks like a bit of either a MOBA or possibly even a Demio style game. Not a lot of information is out there about it yet, other than the fact that you can sign up for the beta, which I have, and I'm excited, super freaking excited to actually be jumping into this at some point once they release those beta access. Oh, I hope I get it, because honestly, I love this style of game. Moss is an incredible game anyway, so I'm very excited to see how this is going to play out. In my heart of hearts, I'm really hoping it's a Demio style game where you'll have all the characters, maybe the perspective of the Moss sort of style gameplay. That would be something else. Let's just hope it's something like that, because that would be freaking dope. If it is like a MOBA with you and 3 other people getting in and actually doing some epic missions, that in itself might be kind of freaking dope anyway. I don't know. I'm just super excited to find out what they have to offer, as I love the franchise that they've already made. So let's check that out the second it happens, and of course this will be where I tell you about it. it the very second it drops. Next one was a bit of a surprise announcement, which is Pixel Rip 1978 is dropping for Quest, PSVR 2 and PC VR. I am so excited about this game. Now, this is the third installment of the Pixel Rip franchise, but the beauty of these games is you don't have to have played any of them previously to enjoy that game. So if you want to pick this one up as your first one, well, you're not going to be missing out on any specific story elements. And the other super cool part about this is they have teamed up with Atari. So this whole story is going to be sort of merged into that Atari era of gaming, and there's going to be some Atari classic characters in the actual game with it as well. This is super duper exciting, and honestly more for the development team for this, because it's just incredible to see such an iconic gaming company, you know, coming into the world of virtual reality alongside a development team that is already very, very well versed in the medium and makes some incredible experiences. For this, you're going to literally be diving into the game, and I don't want to spoil too much as I know what this kind of game is going to be, but you definitely want to be checking this out. Honestly, if you're unsure or on the fence, check out one of the other two installments first of the Pixel Rip franchise and you're going to fall in love with this. It's just a really dope concept. I Expect You to Die 3. Man, a freaking life. I love this franchise, and again, another third installment of a franchise. It feels like we are finally hitting that stride in VR at the moment where we're getting these franchises build up of these incredible games. Now, I Expect You to Die is one of my top-notch games. I absolutely love this series. 1 and 2 were phenomenal experiences, and now the third one is coming out, and I cannot wait to experience this for myself. This is going to be so freaking fire to jump back into that world again and solve some clues, mysteries, damn it. To jump back into that world again and of course die repeatedly, I'm sure. But nonetheless, it's like an escape room type of game, but with this really fun story that goes through it alongside of it. These games are absolutely freaking dope, and I can't wait, as Shell Games has an incredible history of games that honestly just don't let down. So I'm looking forward to this. The only negative that I'm seeing so far about this game is the fact it's not coming to PSVR 2 that we know of just yet. Neither are the other two games locked in for a PSVR 2 release, which is a bit of a shame, and I would love to see that franchise come across into PSVR 2 as it was there for the PS1. Yeah, we need to see that happen. They're incredible games and they would only benefit from being on that system. So let's hope that they pull that out of the bag. If not, well, it's still coming to Quest and PC VR, so still a win there. Next one is a game that's been floating around for a hot minute, and that, my friends, is Into the Darkness. Now, this game was boasting to be a Boneworks / Bone Labs sort of style game with very sort of physical physics in the game, and that being their main focus, along with a super cool story. Now, I've played this game, I've put about an hour and a half into the demo that they released, and honestly, at the time, it felt a little bit of jank. Yeah, it had a little bit of jank to it. But now what I'm seeing from the new gameplay, as it's been like pretty much a full year since that point, is they seem to have polished it up quite a bit. This looks really cool. They're showing off some very fun mechanics to this, even like swimming and all sorts. So I'm pretty excited about all those elements that can be in this. And it's got me kind of revitalized and kind of hyped to experience what this has to offer when it drops. If they do this right, this could be a very cool game and kind of iconic. So let's have our fingers crossed for this one, as it's looking to be shaping up to be a freaking awesome game. Go check this out on Steam. I really hope that they get this to other platforms as well. I'd love to see it come to at least the PSVR 2, and if they can get a Quest port working for this, I think it would be phenomenal for them, as there's a huge audience out there on all these different platforms that would really benefit from seeing this. If it gets locked into just PC VR, I have a feeling it could be doomed to the fate that really comes to being locked in on only PC VR, which is a lack of sales. Let's be real, there's just not enough people there buying games currently. Next up, we had an announcement from HTC. That's right, they're bringing a new tracker out. Now, this tracker is a self-tracking tracker. That's freaking right, man. This sounds super interesting to me, as all their other ones rely on having lighthouse tracking, which is a good option, you know, and very accurate, but these seem to be doing the job for themselves without all of those other things included. Now, they're also about half the size of the original Vive Tracker puck, so that's freaking dope in itself. And the way they work is very similar to like a Quest Pro controller, where they have cameras built in, it has its own brain installed inside of its own little thing, and that then tracks itself in space and relays that information back to whatever you're using to need tracking for. Now this boasts to be useful for VR. Of course, anyone who likes full body tracking is going to be super interested in this. And the other option for this that's very useful as well is people using like full mocap and stuff like that. They'll be able to actually use these to reproduce some really solid mocap results as well. So very cool, and kind of came out of nowhere. These things don't even have an official name yet. They just sort of released them, I guess, to get the hype going. You can't buy them yet either. They are coming soon later this year. So very, very cool. HTC seems to be doing some very interesting stuff with things like their the Vive XR Elite, which I'm really wanting to get my hands on. I don't know whether I should be picking it up or not. Let me know, would you be interested in seeing a review for that? If so, then let me know in the comments, and of course I'll do my best to get hold of one or purchase one for myself so that I can review it for the channel, as I'm very interested to see what their dive back into the VR industry is going to look like. Last up is Breachers. Breachers seems to be having a fantastic time, and in general, VR multiplayers are having a fantastic time by the looks of things. The figures for Breachers were insane for all of the beta testers that got in there, myself included, because I freaking loved that. I actually made a video for this myself, jumping with a bunch of other YouTubers. It was a freaking blast. If you like Rainbow Six, this is that, but in virtual reality, and kind of better in my opinion. They really handled this game fantastically, and it's going to be very soon coming out for release, so we'll actually be able to dive into this for ourselves. And damn, dude, I'm excited, because they're going to be a bunch of new maps, a bunch of new tools, a bunch of new exciting things that are going to be coming into it that we didn't have access to in the beta. This stands to look to be one of those games that's actually going to take off and kind of have like the pop one effect, where it actually gets a bunch of players in playing regularly. Between this and Escape from Tabor, these games just seem to be absolutely dominating the VR multiplayer market space at the moment, and I just look forward to more and more of this coming our way in the future.